Today we're going to be doing using probability to predict different things. We're going to start with filling in the notes. The first one is going to be, you're going to write the word future. Then the next one's going to be proportions, and then WKU. So making a prediction is kind of like guessing, oh, I think I'm going to score a goal tonight when I'm playing in my soccer game. Or, and we're going to do that in math by creating proportions, by using the WKU to help us stay organized. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is show you what you did in 6th grade and how is it different from 6th to 7th grade. All right, so in a hot dog eating contest, Sean can eat 2 hot dogs in 3 minutes. At this rate, how many hot dogs could Sean eat in 15 minutes? Okay, so we're going to set up our WKU. The two things we're comparing is the number of hot dogs and the number in minutes. So the original or the known information is that Sean can eat 2 hot dogs in 3 minutes. Now we want to know how many he can eat in 15. Well, I have minutes at the bottom, so I'm going to put the 15 at the bottom, and I'm going to put an X at the top. Creating the WKU help us create a proportion. So it's going to look 2/3 equals X over 15. Now I'm going to teach you 2 different ways that you can solve. The first way is going to be your cross multiply. You would do 2 times 15, which is 30, and then divide that by 3, which would give you 10. Okay, that's one way. The second way is you have your proportion, and then you can see if there's a number that you can multiply from here to here. That makes it a little bit faster. So I know that 3 times 5 got me to 15. So what I do to the bottom, I could do to the top. So I'm going to do 2 times 5, and 2 times 5, it's 10. So X equals 10. So you could do either method, whatever makes more sense to you. Now, sometimes we have to use this method because there's not an easy factor that I can multiply like I did here. Okay, at the end, we still got the same answer. All right, now let's look at how it's different in 7th grade. So with probability, you're going to do very similar things, but now you're making predictions. It says the spinner is going to be spun 60 times. So that's going to be your total. It's spun 60 times. What is a reasonable prediction for the number of times the spinner will land on 2? Okay, so let's set up our WKU. Okay, and it's talking about the probability of landing in 2 and the times that we are spinning, or your total. Okay, the known is the actual probability of something happening. So we need our total on the spinner. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. That's your total. That's going to be your known. And then how many 2's are in your spinner? Looks like I have 2 2's in my spinner. So that's the 2. Okay, that's your known information. Your prediction part is going to be on this side, on the U. So now they're saying that they're going to do this 60 times. So that's your new total. The 60 goes at the bottom. And I want to predict how many times it's going to land on 2, so I don't know that. Okay, so I'm going to get this out, and I'm going to set up that proportion. And I'm going to see, the first thing I'm going to do to make it easier is see if I can do 6 times something to get me to 60. Well, I know that 6 times 10 got me to 60. So what I do to the bottom, I could do to the top. So I'm going to do times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. So my X is 20. So I'm predicting that it's going to land on 2 about 20 times. Okay, so now we're going to write some steps. Now that we did it, then we know what the steps are going to be. The first thing is to set up find your total like we did. And then we're going to set up our WKU. And then number 3, we're going to choose how to solve. Okay. And the 2 options of solving, I'm going to put A, is to cross multiply and then divide. Or my second option is to find the relationship. which is what we did on this example 1 together. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to example 2. Okay. All right, we're gonna start with our steps. All right, so here's the spinner. The spinner would be spun 30 times, so that's the prediction part. What is a reasonable prediction for the number of times that the spinner will land on 3? So we can go ahead and set up that proportion. And I'm gonna do it up here. Okay, and it's the probability of landing in 3, and then at the bottom is my total. So this, the known, I get from the spinner. So my options are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 different options as a total. And then the probability of landing on 3 is how many 3s I have. 1, 2, and 3. So 3 out of 6 is my known. Now the unknown, this is your prediction part. So they're going to do a total of 30 times, and we don't know what, how, that's what we're answering. So I'm going to rewrite that fraction, 3 over 6, x over 60, x over 30. Okay, I know that 6 times 5 gives me 230. So I'm going to put x times 5. So what I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So 3 times 5 is going to be 15. So my prediction is going to be 15. Okay, now I'm going to help you set up the next example, and you're going to solve on your own. Dixie has a bag of coins. The bag will contain 10 dimes, 1 nickel, 4 pennies. A coin will be drawn from the bag and replaced 90 times. What is a reasonable prediction for the number of times a nickel will be drawn? So let's go ahead and create that WKU. And they're talking about nickels versus your total. Okay, so again, this is your options. So we need to find our total. So we got 10 plus 1 plus 4. So 10 plus 1 plus 4, that's 15. So my total is 15, and they're talking about nickels, and they have 1 nickel out of the 15. Okay, and then they're going to do this 90 times, so that's going to be your new total. And I'm going to do my x. So I can say 15 times 6 gives me 90. So I would do 1 times 6, which is 6. So x equals 6. Or you can also do 1 times 90 divided by 15. You will still get the same answer. All right, so on the last one, it is going to be your turn to try doing this one. The only thing that is different is saying what is the probability that would land less than 2. So what are the numbers that are less than 2 here? The only number that is less than 2 is going to be number 1s. Okay, so you start with that tic-tac-toe. We want to know the probability of getting less than 2, your total. So write down your total here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options. And how many numbers are less than 2, which is only the number 1. So there's 2 out of the 8. And then they're predicting for 60. And then it is your job to solve for x.